Hello from Chautauqua, New York. These are the exercises that we did this summer in posture camp, starting with our sitting exercises. Sitting in good posture starts with a foot position. So start with your feet pointed straight ahead and about hip distance apart. And we also want those feet directly under the knees, not way out in front of us and not deeply bent. We want the knees to be at about a 90-degree angle. And that's important so that we start loading some pressure on the feet. Next, what we're going to do is make sure that we're sitting on the pelvis and not the butt. And what I mean by that is to roll your hips forward so that you're sitting on the bony part of your pelvis and not tucked under onto the fatty or fleshy part of your butt. We want to roll that pelvis and use the deep hip flexors that are right here to keep our torso vertical over our pelvis. When our pelvis is rolled under, it's likely that our spine starts to round and our shoulders slump forward. So get onto your pelvis. And then we talked about just letting the shoulder blades start to say hello to each other. We're not over squeezing, but we're also not just letting the shoulders succumb to time and gravity. So feet, pelvis, shoulder blades, all in position for 1 minute. And then we just use those deep stabilizing muscles to get a little workout and a little strength training on the core and spine relationship, as well as the pelvis relationship to the thighs, as well as maybe some opening up or some new grounding at the feet. So shoulder blades are kind of gently dropping down, pinching together. Try to make it look as natural as possible and maybe do it in front of the mirror so you can see how you're looking. We want to make sure that those shoulders are level with each other and that from the side, again, I'll just show you a quick side view here. From the side, we want our ears, shoulders, and hips to be in a nice straight line. And this might feel like a lot of work to you. This might feel like a lot of effort or strengthening or fatigue, and that's good. That shows me that you're using your muscles like an athlete and trying to get strong from the inside out. So that was 1 minute. And then what we moved on to was some rocking chairs. So we get into the same position, feet pointed straight ahead. That is so important to have the feet pointed straight ahead, feet about hip distance apart, femurs parallel to each other. And maybe you want to put your fists between your knees to double check that distance. Don't let your knees wing out and don't let your knees come together. Then we're going to come all the way up onto our heels and then all the way up onto the balls of our feet, rocking the muscles of our foot and lower leg about 20 times or about 1 minute. So now we're really digging into that relationship between the feet, the knees, the hips, and the shoulder blades. So little action on sliding those shoulder blades together, little action at those hip flexors as I continue to roll forward onto my pelvis, and lots of action down here at those 100 muscles between the knees and the big toes. And the muscles here are so underused. So many of us are only using about 10% of those. And imagine how differently you could walk or stand or climb stairs or have balance or grace or athleticism if we had 100% of these 100 muscles activated. These rocking chairs are so easy to do while you're sitting at your desk or sitting at a concert or sitting watching TV even. And remember, I challenged everybody this summer at Posture Camp to spend 1 minute every waking hour to do about 1 minute of posture therapy, to get out of some bad habits and replace that with some good habits and some mind-body connection. Okay, then we did sitting shoulder rolls. And I'm going to take this seat again so you can see my back. Okay, so get into proper sitting posture again, starting with the feet. Sit on the bony part of your pelvis, and then let's take those shoulder blades into nice big circles. Let's do 10 circles backwards, and then we'll do 10 circles forward. Your shoulder blades need to be in a good relationship with your rib cage, and they need to be using all those muscles of the upper back and the spine and the rotator cuff to really position our posture and to prevent shoulder overuse. The ball and socket of the shoulder get overused when the shoulder blade is not in the right position. So this reminds the shoulder blade that it's got lots of strength and lots of mobility back there. And it also is a sneaky way to go from a slump to a straight, because once I start circling, chances are my spine and my pelvis are going to kind of go along for the ride. So we want to do about 1 minute of those shoulder circles, maybe 30 seconds forward and 30 seconds backwards. And then for some of the posture camp classes, we added a hip crossover stretch. And so we'll sit on the edge of our chair and we'll place the left foot on top of the right knee. And you can see this down leg is in perfect sitting position. My heel is directly under my knee and my foot is right in line with my hip. And then this up leg is in just a nice figure 4. And I'm just gonna sit up nice and tall and let that left hip remember that it's a ball and socket joint. I'm gonna hold here for about 1 minute. Again, these 4 chair exercises, let me change that. These 4 chair exercises can be done all at once for a little 4-minute workout, or they can be done for 1 minute every hour. We use the analogy of applying sunscreen. So if you're fair-skinned like me, you might need to apply sunscreen throughout the day so that you don't get burned. If you have bad posture, or this is new to you, you might need to do 1 minute throughout the day. And as it becomes more and more natural and more of a habit, you can probably cut that back to 4 minutes at a time or 10 minutes at a time instead of having to reapply your posture exercises throughout the day. We have 10 more seconds here. Give me one more nice lift. Remember that your rib cage should not be resting on your lap. We want to lift that rib cage so that your digestive system and all those internal organs have a space to function at their best. And then we'll switch sides. So again, start at the edge of your chair, tilt that tail for me so that you're not sitting on your butt, and then we'll cross one leg over the other. It's okay to use your hands to adjust. And it's okay if one hip is a little tighter than the other. You see, my right knee is much higher than my left one because my right hip's just a little tighter. That is not optimal, obviously, but it is pretty normal. We all have one tight side just based on our habits or our injury history. If I don't pay attention to that right side tightness, though, I probably will end up with some more stiffness on my right lower back, maybe some more arthritis in my right knee, because the rest of my body really does depend on optimal function at that right hip socket. So just relax. Maybe eventually you don't need your hands on your thighs. You can rest them in your lap. Think about lifting the ribs. Think about letting the shoulder blades kind of squeeze together a little bit. And if you find that your head is still forward, it's okay to use the retraction muscles, but we never want to use the extension muscles, okay? So shoulders are back, chin is back, lower body is working at just releasing that hip. And then we just want to keep checking the down foot to make sure that it hasn't snuck into a new position. So those are our 4 chair stretches or chair sitting posture exercises for the first part of posture camp. I'll see you again with some more exercises.